Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Look, I got coffee still. Let me tell you the story of my coffee. Jim's cup. He's not a morning person. He lets me use it because it keeps coffee warm all day. So yesterday, hi everybody, today's Friday. You're watching this on Saturday. I'm finally caught up. Yesterday, we had over an hour of tornado warnings, which is basically hunker down and shelter. They were just not moving fast through the town, you know. So let me take a sip. So when they went on, I had this coffee from like late morning. And I finished it in the shelter room. So like, I guess it was like 2 o'clock, 2:30. Well, right afterwards, I was like very uncomfortable from having sitting in the rollator, and I'll get to the story in a minute. And I said to Jim, can I have a second cup? And it lasted like, I woke up at, I was drinking it. I was trying to stay awake to edit my video, to like upload the video for the Dollar Tree haul. And it fell right to sleep. So people are always like, can you drink caffeine that late? Doesn't it keep you up? No, it's zero effect on me whatsoever in the nighttime. If I'm tired, I'll sleep. That's what it really comes down to. Because I was literally using this to stay awake and I passed right out. So let me take a sip real quick. And good morning. Hopefully you're having a good cup of coffee too. I'm going to take my glasses off because I don't really need to see you once I have the camera going. And I am sorry about the clicking. It's just a little too warm outside to be experiencing no fan. So hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I finally get to say it. I still have a smile from all the Dollar Tree stuff. So yesterday was Thursday. Jim has gone for a colonoscopy today, and he had to do his prep all day yesterday, which was lousy because we were hunkered down for over an hour. And if you've ever had a colonoscopy or done a colonoscopy prep, or watched somebody do a colonoscopy prep, you know that at any moment you just have to run to relieve yourself. And thank God that our shelter room is across from our bathroom. So that's at least that. He had that going for him. And we only have a tiny window in the bathroom. So if anything, God forbid, come marching through, then he would have been pretty safe just jumping in the bathtub. That all being said, it was pretty intense here. I have a bunch of story times to tell you, and hopefully I can get them all in. I was actually contemplating leaving this video until after Jim came back to make sure everything went okay. But I'm kind of like got a little bit of nervousness because I'm not able to, he didn't want me to go because it's a lot on my physical body to sit, just to go to my doctor's appointments and do the things that I need to do or the things that I want to do for, well, I shouldn't say that. I really don't do things that I want to do, but to do the things that I need to do, it's a lot taxing on my body, and he sees it, and he just didn't want to have to put me through sitting for hours waiting for him to get his colonoscopy or however long it was going to take. So Mom drove him, which is good. I really couldn't go anyway because Mom drove him, and I can't get in Mom's car, and she doesn't drive my car. The other thing is the visiting nurse comes on Friday, and I don't want to like have her not come because she really has been, documenting the wound care progress? I guess it was progress. Would you say progress on wounds is healing? The healing process. Okay. The home health aide people are supposed to come today so we could fill out paperwork, and also this afternoon, but Jim will be home for that. The social worker is coming by. So we have a very busy Friday. The housekeeper came by as well today. The homemaker, excuse me, he's not a housekeeper, he's a homemaker. From hospice came by today too. But he was here, Jim was here when he got here. So he's really here to help Jim on my behalf. And Jim just tells him whatever he needs that week. And it's only, he's only here for an hour, but I told Jim, I said, Jim, even if he does an hour of something deep cleaning that you can't get to, or even if he just takes an hour off your everyday cleaning, it doesn't make a difference. Whatever he can do for you will help you. So, and he's great, by the way. I wish I could tell you his name and all about him, but he's great. Yes, our homemaker is a man. He comes once a week for an hour a week. So Jim was here for that when he left, and he left. I was like, please just lock yourself out, let yourself out, and please lock the door. And he's been coming here for weeks, so I totally trust him. It's fine. Everybody does, really. He's a wonderful person. But anyway, we have this whole situation. Now, I did not have a shower yesterday. My family is extremely, extremely paranoid about showering during thunderstorms. Apparently, according to the home health shower aide, or the hospice shower aide, she said it's very, very common here in the Midwest. That superstition of not showering during a thunderstorm is very common here. So he promised me that we would get a shower. I would get a shower on Saturday, and then possibly just next Thursday. Or if he couldn't get to this weekend, I told her maybe she can come back on Monday. I have been switched. We've switched from baby wipes to Cetaphil. I had my doctor friend. She sent me some Cetaphil wash because it is recommended. She recommends it, so she sent me some. And I kind of feel, honestly, like I'm more cleansed with it. When we went to the dermatologist, she washed me with, I'm always going to, not HEPA wash, but some wash that begins with an H that they use for wounds. She washed me with that. And then this, of course, is the over-the-counter sort of less expensive, gentle form. And when I talked to my dermatologist about it, because I had already had it at the time, she said that was a great alternative. So we've switched from baby wipes to using this. So I kind of feel cleaner. Like my sponge baths, I feel cleaner. When I do sponge baths with Dove, sometimes it actually makes me feel more dried out than the Cetaphil does, which is great. So I don't know if it's got less soap. I don't really know the chemical makeup of it. Other than all I do know is it's more expensive than I could really afford to buy for myself on a regular basis. Had I known that it was so recommended to use this for when, with the wound care, I would have bought it. Like, I've been buying wound care stuff, even though I can't, what can I afford is what I can afford it because I need it. I guess that's what I make it affordable because I need it. That's what I'm trying to say. But I'm grateful. I'm so grateful for her. She's just been such a blessing. And she's so busy that she keeps apologizing. And I was like, I don't know. That's not how my friendship doesn't have conditions. It doesn't require you to talk to me on a regular basis. I'm here when you need me. I know you're there when I need you. If I text you, you'll text me back when you can. If you text me, I'll text you back when I can. That's how our relationship works. And that's how many of my relationships work, because I have lots of friends who are parents and, like you, have other obligations besides just being friends with me. And I'm aware of this. I'm not being a martyr or facetious or sarcastic. I'm serious. I know that I'm not everybody's top priority, and that's okay. I'm not supposed to be. Now, that being said, when it's an emergency, my friends know. For a perfect example is when my brother died. I got notified at 9 o'clock in the morning. I made a few phone calls to, like, family members, cousins and stuff. My sister asked me to call some cousins. And then when I was done making the phone calls I was asked to, I immediately called my best friends. And I knew they'd both be in class, but I also knew that they knew that if I was calling them during school, then they needed to step out of their classrooms and have a conversation with me. And they both did. And they both understood, and they were both very, 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 very graciously sympathetic and saddened themselves, but still just wonderful, supportive people. They always are. But that's how it goes, like when I called my doctor friend for the first time of actually speaking to her on the phone, she answered because she knew. Usually we text, and if I'm calling you, it's answer, like that kind of thing. So, that being said, all that to say, I feel cleaner between showers with the Cetaphil is really what I was getting to. I don't feel as much dryness on my skin, the residue. The rash has actually improved tremendously. And I'll tell you why what I actually think was the problem. So I use bed pads. I use Chucks. I use reusable ones. They get washed, and they're not disposable kind. The disposable kind weren't working for me because the wound leakage was sticking to the disposable ones, and I was like having to change them 2 or 3 times a day because I wasn't going to sleep back. I wasn't going to go to the commode, come back, and sleep on the wet, dirty chuck. It was just not going to happen. But when it's the reusable chuck, I can reposition it, cover it with the other one. It's just this whole big thing I can. Plus, it's more absorbent. The other one is just falls apart. I think that they're made out of a polyester or nylon that I don't, my skin doesn't like, and that's why it's happening just on my arms. So the rest of my arms, I usually wear sleeves because of my brace, you know. This part of my arms are like always exposed, my forearms, and this part of my arms is always rubbing against the chucks. The chucks here, when I lay on my stomach, when I lay on my other side, I'm constantly on them. And I was wondering, and ever since, look, I've stopped using them 3 days ago, and because I'm not leaking through, I'm not leaking beyond my clothes anymore. I occasionally leak onto my clothes, but I'm not really leaking beyond my clothes. And I know that sounds silly because my clothes are just really thin, but sometimes it just comes through the pad enough that it sticks to the clothes, but it won't come through the clothes enough to get onto the bed or the pillowcase. So I was like, I noticed that they weren't getting dirty, so I just took them off, and I took them off because I was going to shower and change the bed and all that stuff. And then, of course, the storm came, and then it's been like 3 days I've been without it. And I can't believe it's not itchy at all. It's clearing up. I have a couple of like open things that I have like, didn't even realize, I guess, that I had scratched open. I thought they were bites or something. And I was like, you know, but nope. That's what that is. And I can't believe the difference. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But we'll see. So yesterday we had a tornado warning and watch, obviously. The warning lasted the longest it ever has since I moved here. I've moved here 9 years ago. Next Tuesday will be 9 years that I moved here. Jim and I moved here, I should say. And in that 9 years, we've had plenty of hunker down tornado warnings, but we have yet to have one that lasted as long as it did yesterday. The storm was very slow moving through town. So, a little bit of a story. I know I told you guys about Dunkin Donuts. That the Dunkin Donuts, they were opening one in Doolittle, which is the town over. Which, it's funny because when they opened the Dollar General, that's kind of right next to the Stuckey's where the Dunkin Donuts is. And when they sent out postcards, they actually called it Rolla. It's not really Rolla. It's Doolittle. It's its own little town, but it's one of those towns that are so small that sometimes that's what happens. So it really is close. Somebody had said 13 miles. It's not 13 miles. It's 13 minutes. It's only 5 miles. But it's not even 5 miles. It's just 5 miles on the interstate. If you take the back roads, it's not 5 miles. That being said, we finally got to go. Well, first of all, when Julie was here in September, when she first saw the sign, it just opened like, I don't know, I want to say a month ago or 3 weeks ago. And we finally got there on Tuesday for my mom's birthday. You guys remember, I was so excited. I got a large toasted almond. I will tell you what I got and why. I'm telling you. I got a large toasted almond, iced coffee with 6 creams and 2 Splendas. The reason I'm telling you that is that I have quite a few people asking me how I order my coffee at Dunkin Donuts. I gave them all the different ones. I like the blueberry. I mean, I really like all the unsweetened flavors. They have blueberry, French vanilla, toasted almond, and it's not coconut. What's that 4th flavor? Hazelnut. Ugh. I had a hazelnut issue. I love hazelnut, like I love Nutella, and I love Ferrero Rocher, and I love to actually eat hazelnuts. But I had a whole hazelnut coffee creamer thing, and I can't. I had like an adverse reaction to it now. No thanks.
Enter passcode.
Shh. Nobody asked you.
Enter passcode.
Shh. Nobody asked you. The reason I mentioned how I get my coffee is because 2 people had asked me, and I was like, let me just tell you. I like the cold brew, but the 2 times I've had the cold brew, they were very different. The first one was like super sweet, and the second one was super bitter. So I now get 2 Splenda on the side, because then I taste it, and if it's too bitter, add the Splenda. If it's too sweet, I'm good to go. You know, like, or actually, the first time I ordered it, I put 2 Splenda in it, and then I said just leave them out. And the first time I had it with no Splendas, it was way too bitter. So it was just different brewing time. I don't know, different you know, they try, but it's obviously not always consistent. But they have sugar-free flavors that they add in, and they're not sweetened. That's what I was trying to get to. So when you go to McDonald's or Starbucks, they have pre-sweetened flavors. So like when you get sugar-free vanilla, it's sugar-free, it's sweetened with Splenda, and you don't have to add any additional sugar unless you want it sweeter. At Dunkin Donuts, they have sugar-free flavors that are they're not sweetened. That you can add to anything. You can add the toasted almond to hot chocolate, which is oh my lord, amazing. Because it's like a macaroon, like a chocolate almond joy, like that, because it's like toasted almond and covered in chocolate. Oh my gosh, so good. Anyhow, reel it in, Jer. So we went for my mother's birthday. I had the doctor's appointment in the morning. We went to Dunkin Donuts, and then we were going to go to the Dollar Tree, and then we went to we went to the Dollar Tree, but it was packed, so I went home. But on the way, we stopped and got Mexican pizzas at Taco Bell, because that's how we celebrate my mom's birthday. So this was Tuesday the 17th. Today is Friday the 20th. Yesterday, during the tornadoes, the ceiling of the Dunkin Donuts collapsed. And now I don't think it's inside, because today, when I opened the app, it said they were taking orders. You were taking mobile orders. So it may have just been the outside. There's multiple doors to get into the Stuckey's. So there's basically like a door that goes into the... I don't know, this is not exclusive to Stuckey's. I've been road tripping all across the United States. I know multiple places have multiple doors to get in that all connect inside. But basically, there's a door to get in the Stuckey's, and then there was a separate door to get into the Dunkin Donuts, where the Dunkin Donuts pizzeria and Baskin Robbins was. I will show you the picture. I don't know who I have to take photo credit for, but I will give credit to the Rolla Rural Fire Department, because that's where I found the picture on Facebook. I don't know who actually took the photo, because it's just going all over. Different people are sharing it, so I'm not actually sure who took the picture. But I'll try to remember to insert the picture here so that you can get an idea of how scared I was. And I said, the part of the story that I just skipped, which was the funniest part of the story, is yesterday morning, before we even knew it was going to thunderstorm, or tornado, for that matter, I got an email from Dunkin Donuts, because I have like a app and a membership, and not a membership, an account with them, so I get coupons and stuff. And they said, starting today, Dunkin Donuts iced coffee, $2 all day, every day, all summer. They're having $2 iced coffees all day, every day, all summer. And I was like, oh, all sizes. And I was like, yes, please. And I forwarded it to Jim, and I literally wrote in the email. And I wonder if I could screenshot the email. I'm going to try to remember. But in the email, I wrote, God's trying to tell me something. And then, less than 8 hours later, I felt like God was trying to tell me something else. That being said, I think the Dunkin Donuts is still serviceable inside. I just don't think you could use the door by the Dunkin Donuts. And I'll show you the picture, and you guys can assess yourself. But like I said, when I went on the app, it said you can order from there. I did say to Jim, I'm like, if you feel good on the way home, and you want to show Mom where the Dunkin Donuts is, because my mother-in-law is really, really good with directions when you show her the first time. Like when she's driving and you say, make a right here, go straight here, and make a right there, like kind of thing. Like she's really great with directions with maps and stuff, but she really kind of needs to be shown the first time, and then she can get back there and get back there over and over again. So I said to him, I'm like, if you feel up to it and you want to show Mom where the Dunkin Donuts is, I don't know when I'm going to be in the car with her to show her where Dunkin Donuts is while she's driving. Hello? Hello? Must be hearing things. I actually live pretty close to my neighbor this way, and sometimes they're doing stuff in their yard, and it sounds like... Anyway. So I said, if you want to show Mom what the Dunkin Donuts is, I want to support them. And I'm not trying to be like, oh, of course I would love some iced coffee. I have really good coffee here, and it's cheaper than $2. But I would love to support them because I want them to stay here. It took them so long to get going because they were building during the pandemic, just when we thought the pandemic was over, but then the pandemic spiked up again. So like they had trouble getting staff. They had trouble getting supplies. We all had trouble getting supplies. And they finally got going for this to happen. Can I tell you something really funny? This has happened twice already in this town, and it's kind of like a head scratcher. So the first time that this happened was, there's a restaurant called Colton's where we went for Mother's Day, and they had just expanded. They built an entire new sort of party room, but also like another wing, just to, so people wouldn't have to wait as long. And they had just finished it. Like literally, we were going there while they were doing construction, and sometimes the fumes were overwhelming. And they would discount us or whatever, like not knowing we were so sensitive to them or whatever, and we would take breaks. But they just got finished. My sister and Janie and Julie had come for Thanksgiving. They had just got the room finished. Like literally while they were here, that was like the first time the room was open, and we had to celebrate that. We got like literally the girls were like, we're going to Colton's because not only is tomorrow, or not only is it Thanksgiving, we're going to be prepped for Thanksgiving, but they're having their grand reopening because they just opened this big room, and my sisters and nieces were walking around the party room and standing in front of the giant TV screens and everything. It's kind of fun. So that was in November of 1919. November of 2019. So November of 19. In, I want to say February of 20. No, because it was before the pandemic. So maybe like January of 20. Well, the pandemic didn't really hit here until after the summer. So maybe it was February. I think I could probably look back at the date, but it's not that important. A few months later, they had a fire in the kitchen overnight, and the place like burnt down and was closed. Now, my birthday was in July of 2020 when I turned 50, and my sisters came, and they were still closed for reconstruction. And I was like, this is crazy. Because something very similar happened to the other steak restaurant in town. So we have another steak restaurant in town. It's called Sirloin Stockade, and it's sort of like a restaurant buffet. So if you've ever heard of Sizzler or the Ponderosa, where it's like a steakhouse that has a giant like salad bar with appetizers and pastas and stuff. Oh, it's a truck doing air brakes. I'm sorry. We live so I've like squirrel. Just because I'm home alone and I'm waiting for someone to come. Like, that's why I'm like on my, I got my ears perked, I'm listening for everything. I'm actually, they said they'd call first, but people forget. So I'm like, is she here? Okay. So Sirloin Stockade had a big fire, and they got repaired right before the pandemic. So then they like had to close, and it was sort of like one of these things, like you just got reopened and then the pandemic hit and then you had to close, and the whole nation was on lockdown and everything. So it's just sort of like, so this is like the next time. This Dunkin Donuts just opened after almost a year of being under construction. They just opened, and then this happens. I said to Jim, I said, this is why I want to support them. I want to support them because I want them to know that we want them to stay. Even if I go once a week for the rest of my life, I want them to know that I want them to be there that one day a week. So I need a haircut so bad. It's terrible. I do. It's bad. It's bad. It doesn't want to do anything. And I really want to just like shave the sides of my head and just fluff this whole business up. But that's beside the point. So I said to him, I said, if you're feeling good and you want to take Mom to the Dunkin Donuts, I said, let me know. I'll order ahead. You won't even have to think about it. She can go in. She could just pick up the order for Jeri-Ann, blah, blah, blah. You don't need the phone. You don't need the number. You just, I could send her the text message of the screenshot or whatever. So anyway, that's what happened to my poor Dunkin Donuts. And yesterday I was beside myself. I called my sister. And I wasn't really like crying. I was just like, this is just so perfectly what happens to me. And it didn't happen to me, but you guys know what I'm saying. So I just thought it was ironically funny that this happened. And because I said to her, I was like, I'm just so grateful that I went on Tuesday. Because had I not gone on Tuesday and something happened to it, I would have been so even more pissed. Oh, brain fog sucks. I forgot to tell you the funniest part of the story. So we're sitting in the guest room, because that's our shelter room. And we have the TV on, and we're watching the report on CBS. And the CBS we get comes from St. Louis. So they do pretty much from Rolla, Phelps County. And they do pretty much from where we live all the way to like Illinois. However, when they're tracking storms coming to Rolla, they don't say all of a sudden like, hey, Rolla, you got storms. What they say is, hey, Rolla, watch out. Springfield had the tornado before, and it's on its way to you. Like, they do that, you know? So we were watching, and one they said was, he goes, oh, right now it's southwest of Rolla. And what's southwest of Rolla? Or no, it's northwest of Rolla. I said, what's northwest of Rolla? What's northwest of where we live is the new Dunkin Donuts. That's what I'm trying to say to you. And I turned to my husband, and I said, oh, if something happens to my Dunkin Donuts, we're going to have words. And I didn't mean him and me. I meant him and me and the big guy upstairs. And then the big guy upstairs said, oh, no, you want to threaten me with words? Let's go. I don't really know. It just was like, oh, my God. I can't believe this is so funny and weird and happy not, you know? It makes you want to laugh or you're going to cry. Anyway,